Have you ever wondered if your pet can see things you can't? Could they be sensing something from the unseen world? It's your boy Mr. Potato here, and we're about to step into the realm of the unknown, where reality intertwines with the supernatural. The concept of the unseen world is not new. It dates back to ancient civilizations where people believed in spirits and entities beyond the physical realm. They respected these entities, feared them, and sought their blessings. And this belief has not faded away. It has evolved and taken different forms in various cultures across the globe. Today, we'll delve into this fascinating topic. Now let's talk about our furry friends, our pets. They're not just animals, they're family. We share our homes with them, our joys and sorrows. But have you noticed your pet acting strangely at times? Staring at a corner, barking or hissing at nothing, or showing signs of fear for no apparent reason? Some believe that animals, with their heightened senses, perceive things that we humans can't, like entities from the unseen world. The idea that animals can sense ghosts is both intriguing and unsettling. It's a concept that raises more questions than it answers. Does the animal kingdom have a sixth sense that allows them to see or feel spirits? Are they more in tune with the unseen world than we are? Or is there a scientific explanation for their odd behavior? The skepticism around this idea is understandable. After all, we live in an age of science and reason where every claim needs evidence. Despite countless anecdotes and cultural beliefs, there's a lack of scientific evidence to support or refute these claims. Hence, the debate continues. Scientists and skeptics argue that what we perceive as supernatural might just be our pets reacting to environmental factors that we humans can't detect. Things like ultrasonic sounds, electromagnetic fields, or even certain smells that are beyond our sensory range. But there's also an abundance of stories and experiences that suggest otherwise. Stories of pets behaving oddly in haunted houses, dogs barking at unseen entities, cats staring at nothingness. And it's not just limited to household pets. There are tales from the wild of animals avoiding certain areas known for paranormal activity, acting unusually during supernatural events, and so on. There are also cultural beliefs that further fuel this idea. In many cultures, animals, especially cats and dogs, are believed to have a connection with the spirit world. They're seen as spiritual beings, protectors, and guides who can sense and ward off evil spirits. In between this tug of war between skepticism and belief, some scientific studies have tried to explore this phenomenon. They've studied animal behavior, their sensory capabilities, their reactions to different stimuli, trying to find a pattern or an explanation. And while these studies haven't provided concrete evidence, they've opened up a world of possibilities. The most compelling evidence comes from a story that is hard to dismiss. A story of a dog who, for days, kept staring and barking at a particular spot in the house. The owners, feeling unnerved, decided to investigate. They found a hidden, sealed-off room untouched for years. Inside, they found old belongings of a previous resident who had passed away in the house. A chilling discovery that left them pondering. Could their dog have sensed the presence of the deceased? In conclusion, the topic of animals perceiving ghosts is shrouded in mystery. It's a blend of cultural beliefs, anecdotes, skepticism, and scientific exploration. And while there's no definitive answer yet, it's a subject that continues to intrigue and mystify us. So what do you think? Have you had any experiences with your pets that made you wonder if they're sensing something from the unseen world? We'd love to hear your stories. And if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, check out our other video where we explore more about the supernatural world. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and remember, there's always more than meets the eye. The idea of animals seeing ghosts is often met with skepticism. This statement rings true in many circles, especially among those rooted in scientific reasoning. The concept of animals sensing the supernatural is an intriguing one, filled with mystery and fascination. Yet, it's also a topic mired in controversy, with a lack of empirical evidence causing many to dismiss it as mere folklore or the stuff of horror movies. In the world of science, evidence is king. It's the foundation upon which theories are built and truths are established. But when it comes to animals and the paranormal, concrete evidence seems to be as elusive as the entities themselves. While numerous pet owners recount tales of their furry friends staring at seemingly empty spaces or barking at unseen entities, these accounts fall short of scientific proof. They remain, at best, anecdotal evidence, compelling yet not definitive. Now, it's important to remember that the lack of evidence doesn't necessarily mean the phenomenon isn't real. It could simply mean that our current scientific methods and technology aren't advanced enough to detect or understand these occurrences. After all, there are many things in the universe that remain unexplained, yet their existence is undeniable. The challenge then lies in scientifically studying such a phenomenon. How does one go about proving or disproving the ability of animals to perceive entities beyond our human senses? It's a complex question that has stumped researchers and enthusiasts alike. One approach is to observe and document animal behavior in supposedly haunted locations. However, this methodology has its limitations, as animal behavior can be influenced by numerous factors, not just the potential presence of ghosts. Another approach is to delve into the realm of animal senses. It's well established that many animals have senses far superior to ours. Dogs, for instance, have an incredibly acute sense of smell, while cats can see much better in the dark than humans. Could these enhanced senses allow them to perceive things we can't? It's a tantalizing hypothesis, but again, one that's difficult to prove scientifically. It's also worth noting that skepticism isn't necessarily a bad thing. Science thrives on skepticism. It encourages rigorous testing and questioning, which are crucial in the pursuit of truth. So, while the skepticism surrounding the idea of animals seeing ghosts may seem dismissive, it's actually an integral part of the scientific process. In conclusion, the idea of animals perceiving ghosts is a topic fraught with skepticism and challenges. The lack of concrete scientific evidence, combined with the difficulties in studying such a phenomenon, create an environment of uncertainty. But despite these challenges, the quest for understanding continues. Researchers, pet owners, and supernatural enthusiasts alike continue to explore this mysterious realm, driven by curiosity and the tantalizing possibility of uncovering something truly extraordinary. So, the scientific world remains undecided, but what about anecdotal evidence and cultural beliefs? While science may not have the answers yet, there's a world of stories, traditions, and personal experiences waiting to be explored. And who knows, perhaps the key to understanding this enigma lies not just in science, but in these tales and beliefs as well. Across the world, there are countless stories of animals behaving oddly in ways that suggest they might be perceiving something we can't. The dog barking at an empty corner, the cat staring intently at something invisible to us, the bird suddenly taking flight without any apparent reason. These instances, as everyday as they may seem, have often been interpreted as animals sensing the presence of the supernatural. Let's take a journey across different cultures and their beliefs. In many parts of Asia, for example, it's believed that cats can see spirits and are often considered as protectors against evil spirits. Similarly, in ancient Egyptian culture, cats were regarded as sacred and thought to have protective qualities against evil entities. In Western folklore, dogs are often thought to see and sense spirits and ghosts. There are countless anecdotes of dogs growling, barking, or whimpering at seemingly nothing, leading many to believe they're responding to a presence that humans can't perceive. These cultural beliefs are not just confined to our domestic companions. Native American folklore, for instance, considers the crow as a messenger from the other world, capable of moving between the realms of the living and the dead. But it's not just folklore and anecdotes. Some scientific studies suggest that animals might perceive certain phenomena differently than humans, possibly explaining some of their strange behaviors. For instance, dogs and cats have a wider range of hearing than humans. They can hear ultrasonic sounds that are beyond our range of perception. Could this heightened sense be allowing them to pick up on something we can't? Moreover, several species of birds, insects, and mammals are known to perceive magnetic fields, a sense known as magnetoreception, which humans don't possess. Could this extra sense allow these creatures to detect supernatural entities if they exist? It's also important to consider how keenly attuned animals are to their environment. They are sensitive to changes in temperature, pressure, and even the emotional state of their human companions. Could it be possible that these heightened senses allow them to perceive subtle changes in their surroundings, changes that might be attributed to the presence of the supernatural? While these stories and beliefs are intriguing, they remain largely unproven. The scientific community continues to grapple with the challenge of studying something as elusive and subjective as the supernatural. But these stories, these cultural beliefs, and the peculiar behaviors of our animal companions continue to stoke our curiosity and our imagination. These stories and beliefs are intriguing, aren't they? But one story stands out among them all. Perhaps the most compelling story comes from the heart of England, in a town steeped in history and some say otherworldly whispers. It involves a dog named Max, an ordinary Labrador retriever with an extraordinary tale. Max was known for his playful energy, but there was one room in his family's centuries-old home where his behavior would inexplicably change. In this room, Max would often stare at one particular corner, his tail tucked between his legs, and whine as if he were seeing something his human family could not. The corner was bare, with no furniture or fixtures that could have sparked the dog's interest. Yet Max's focus remained unwavering. Intrigued and slightly unnerved, the family decided to delve into the history of their home. What they found gave them chills. It turned out that the previous owner, an elderly woman, had passed away right in that very room, in the exact corner that Max seemed so fixated on. Could Max have sensed the residual energy of the previous owner, or was he merely responding to some mundane, unseen stimuli? The answer remains shrouded in mystery. However, this story indeed sparks fascination and curiosity. It's easy to dismiss such tales as mere coincidences or the product of overactive imaginations. Yet, when we consider the heightened sensory perception of animals, their keen hearing, sharp eyesight, and powerful sense of smell, it's not entirely outlandish to think that they might perceive things beyond our human comprehension. From an empirical standpoint, we're still far from understanding the full extent of animal perception. But stories like Max's serve as compelling evidence that our four-legged friends might just be tuning into a dimension of reality that we humans are oblivious to. This story certainly makes you think, doesn't it? So can animals see ghosts? That's the question that we've been mulling over, isn't it? A question that has been pondered upon by countless individuals, from the casual pet owner to the most erudite scientist. A question that, despite countless anecdotes, cultural beliefs, and even some scientific studies, remains shrouded in mystery. Let's take a moment to summarize what we've discussed so far. We started with the idea that animals, our pets in particular, might be able to perceive things that we humans cannot. That our four-legged pals might have a heightened sense of the supernatural, if you will. This is a belief that is widespread, transcending boundaries of culture and geography. It's a belief that is backed by countless anecdotes of pets behaving strangely, often in ways that suggest they might be seeing or sensing something that we humans cannot. But then, we delved into the other side of the coin, the skepticism that surrounds this idea. The lack of solid scientific evidence that either supports or refutes these claims. The fact that the scientific community as a whole remains cautious about jumping to conclusions, preferring to base its judgments on empirical evidence rather than anecdotal stories. And yet, the anecdotes persist. Stories of cats staring intently at seemingly empty spaces, of dogs growling at thin air, of birds behaving erratically for no discernible reason. Stories that, while not providing definitive evidence, certainly add fuel to the fire of speculation. We also explored the realm of cultural beliefs, of traditions that span centuries, even millennia. Beliefs that animals are more attuned to the supernatural, that they can see spirits or sense their presence. These beliefs are deeply ingrained in many cultures, and while they might not provide empirical evidence, they certainly add another layer to this complex mystery. Then, we turned our attention to the scientific studies that, while not directly addressing the question of whether animals can see ghosts, have shown that animals do perceive the world differently than we humans do, that they can sense things that we cannot, whether it's ultraviolet light, magnetic fields, or even the subtle changes in atmospheric pressure that precede a storm. And finally, we presented the most compelling evidence, the story that, more than any other, suggests that animals might indeed have a heightened sense of the supernatural. The story of the dog that, despite being blind and deaf, seemed to react to something that its human companions could not perceive. A story that, while not providing definitive proof, certainly gives us pause and makes us wonder, so, can animals see ghosts? We don't have a definitive answer, not yet. The scientific evidence is inconclusive. The anecdotes, while compelling, are not definitive proof. The cultural beliefs, while fascinating, are not empirical evidence, and yet the question persists, the mystery endures. It's a mystery that is as intriguing as it is elusive. It's a mystery that continues to captivate our curiosity, to make us question our understanding of the world, of the boundaries between the natural and the supernatural. It's a mystery that, despite our best efforts, remains unsolved. And perhaps that's what makes it so compelling. The fact that, despite all our advances in science and technology, there are still things that we don't fully understand, things that defy explanation, that challenge our perceptions, that make us question our assumptions. So, can animals see ghosts? We don't know. But what we do know is that this question, this mystery, will continue to intrigue us, to captivate our curiosity, to make us wonder about the unseen world that might exist beyond our perception. And who knows? Perhaps one day we will find the answer. Perhaps one day we will unravel this mystery. But until then, it remains an intriguing mystery, one that continues to captivate our curiosity. Now, it's your turn to weigh in. Isn't it mind-boggling how our pets, our best buddies, might be perceiving an entirely different world than we are? It's as if they have a special pair of goggles that allows them to see things that elude our human senses. This whole concept of animals being able to sense ghosts or supernatural entities is an idea that has fascinated us for centuries, and today we've delved into the heart of this intriguing mystery. We've discussed the skepticism that surrounds the possibility of our pets seeing ghosts. There's a considerable lack of scientific evidence either supporting or refuting these claims, which leaves us swimming in a sea of uncertainty. But isn't that the beauty of mysteries? They give us room to question, to explore, and to challenge our understanding of the world. We've also explored a variety of anecdotal stories, cultural beliefs, and scientific studies on animal behavior. These narratives and findings suggest that our furry companions might perceive these supernatural entities differently than we do. We've heard stories of dogs barking at seemingly empty corners, cats fixating their gaze on invisible entities, and birds suddenly fluttering in distress for no discernible reason. And then, we delved into the most compelling evidence that suggests our pets might have this uncanny ability. We looked at a story that could potentially shift our understanding of the animal world. This tale, filled with eerie occurrences and inexplicable animal behavior, has left us with more questions than answers. So what do we take away from all of this? Well, it's clear that the mystery surrounding animal perceptions of ghosts is far from being solved. It's an ongoing puzzle, a riddle that's waiting for the right pieces to fall into place. And while we wait for science to catch up, we're left with our curiosity and a world of possibilities. Now, as we reach the end of this exploration, it's time for you to join the conversation. What are your thoughts on this subject? Have you ever experienced an instance where your pet behaved unusually? Perhaps they seemed to interact with something or someone invisible. Or maybe you have a different perspective on this topic entirely. We'd love to hear your stories, your theories, and your thoughts. And remember, this discussion doesn't have to end here. If you're intrigued by the supernatural, if you find yourself captivated by the unknown, we have a treasure trove of videos for you to dive into. You might want to check out our video on the science of the supernatural, where we delve deeper into the scientific explanations behind paranormal phenomena. Or if you're interested in the supernatural experiences of humans, our video on human perception of ghosts could be right up your alley. So go ahead, share your thoughts, explore more videos, and let's continue this journey into the unknown together. Because when it comes to mysteries, the deeper we delve, the more fascinating they become. And remember, keep your mind open to the mysteries of the world. This is your boy, Mr. Potato, signing off.